Welcome to AP Breakdown. We're your hosts, Rafi Patel
and Sahasra Wadula.
Today we're going to be interviewing Miss Syme about AP Human Geo.
Thank you so much, Miss Syme, for being on this podcast.
Glad to be here.
But before we start, we're going to take a minute to talk about why we started this podcast. We know that high school can be a very confusing time for many students, and we wanted to make that a little bit easier.
We're going to be interviewing many different teachers and students about AP classes.
Okay, let's start. The first question we have for you is, what are AP classes?
Okay, AP stands for Advanced Placement, and they are a series of classes that are run by the College Board, which is the same nonprofit organization that does the SAT, and so it sort of oversees all of those. And the purpose behind the AP program is to allow advanced students an opportunity to take advanced subjects, advanced classes, college level classes, and then if they are successful on the class and on the test in May, they can actually earn college credit, which is amazing. You can start college already having credits completed, which is an amazing opportunity for many of our students.
And what do you learn in AP Human Geo, and why should students take it?
Sure. AP Human Geo is a freshman level class. So it's really the only class that's available to all freshmen. And it's a great opportunity. It's a great entry level AP class. So it allows students to get a head start in the AP program and sort of get moving on that. And it offers those advanced students a bit of a challenge. Specifically, AP Human Geography is the why of where. So it's not physical geography. It's not, anything specifically just to maps. It is the why of where. So I always start the year with a question, why do they speak Portuguese in Brazil? So you have to understand things like that. Why is it that certain areas of the world are one religion and other areas are other religions? How did the religions diffuse from their hearths? Why are languages spoken in certain areas? Why are some countries more developed and why are some less developed? Why do some countries have population issues that they need to increase their population and others have a situation where they need to decrease their population? So it's all of those kinds of things. So we view the world from different themes from our 7 units. So it's a fantastic class. It's a great social studies class. It's a little bit of history. It's a little bit of economics. It's government. It's American history. I always joke that it's the gift that keeps on giving when you take other social studies classes.
Yeah. So is this like an easy class for many freshmen to take, or is it like a little bit of a challenge?
It's definitely a challenge. Coming from the middle schools, the testing is different. The multiple choice, the style of multiple choice questions are different. Just the fact that there are 5 answer choices instead of 4 actually makes it more challenging. But the information is the questions that are asked are not recall based; they're higher level. So it is a challenge. Especially the test is a challenge, but it's a good challenge and it's a doable challenge. Our students are very successful and have been for many years on the AP Human Geo test. So we know that they can be successful, and it's good. It's good to have a rigorous class. It's good to be challenged and to push yourself a little bit, especially as a freshman.
And what can students do to prepare for this course before they take it?
Sure. Before they take it, I always recommend being really aware of what's going on in the world, watching the news, studying maps, knowing a little bit about where things are in the world, I think is really helpful. But I think mostly really being aware of what's going on in the world and understanding some world events. Watching world-based news, I think, is really helpful.
I remember when I took this class for the first time that it was like a challenge at first, but then over time I kind of got used to the style of the questions and the FRQs.
One of the things that we have to do in AP Human Geo especially is we have to learn study skills in addition to learning the content. So I am teaching students how to study, how to take notes, how to study for exams, and all of that along with the Geo curriculum. And I think that's, as the year goes on, usually by the time Thanksgiving hits, everybody knows what's going on and we're rolling at that point. And things get much easier as the year goes on.
So yeah, the class is very challenging when I first took it, but then I definitely got better over time. But I'd say one thing that definitely overwhelmed me, there's a lot of vocab in this course.
Yeah.
It's too much to memorize.
Well, there is, because it is a college level course. So the course is written for someone who's 19 years old, not someone who's 14 years old.
Yeah.
So, we have to kind of get used to that, and we have to do a lot of vocabulary practice to get us to the point. But again, it's good to have a bit of a challenge as you start high school.
At the end, there's like an AP test. For AP Human Geo, what's on the AP test?
Sure. So we have 7 units, and so all 7 of those units are tested. But it is the first part of the test is 60 multiple choice questions in 60 minutes, and just the timing of that can be a bit of a challenge. At the beginning of the year, there's no way we can do a question every 60 seconds, but by the end we can. So there's a learning process there as well. And then the second half consists of FRQs, which are free response questions. So there are 3 of them, and there are 7 parts to each. So that's a total of 21 questions, I guess you can say. And part 1 and part 2 are each 50% of the score of the exam. So when you add that all together, that then provides you with a score, and those scores are put into categories of a 5, which is the highest, a 4, a 3, a 2, and a 1. And a 3 through 5 is passing, a 1 and a 2 is failing. And the 3, if you pass with a 3 or higher, that's when you're eligible for college credit. But it does depend on the university you choose to go to.
So how can students prepare for this AP test?
Oh, I have lots of ways to prepare, as you too well know. Besides the normal unit practice, we do before school and after school review sessions. We do map quizzes because the map quizzes help you to learn. I like to have students in on a Saturday morning to run through a full-length practice test because I think that feeling the pacing of the test is a big part of it. I think if you know what to expect, we do this practice test in the same location that you'll take the exam, so you feel it, you know what it looks like, you know what it smells like, you know what it feels like, you know how cold it is, how warm it is, so you kind of have an idea of how to prepare. Because I think that the physical act of preparing for an exam is important as well. Maybe not as important as studying for it, but it does certainly add to it. We want you to be as prepared as possible to be taking that test on that Tuesday in May.
I also used like flashcards when I was studying to like memorize the vocab and everything. I put them into Quizlet, and then like I had those like games and everything to also keep me engaged while doing it.
Quizlet's a good app.
You know, we're very fortunate. There's so many online resources that can be used for AP classes now. There's so many different platforms to use for things like that. So some people like the physical, actually having an actual note card in front of them, flashcard in front of them. Some students like to do online. There's more games. Some are more just actual practice questions. There's videos you can watch. Some are recommended. Some maybe not so much. But you have all these study tools right at your fingertips, and it kind of depends on you as a learner. And are you more of a visual learner? Do you need to see things like that? Are you more tactile? Do you want to touch things? Those are good. There's all kinds of opportunities out there for you. That when I started teaching this class 15 years ago, there really wasn't. So we're very fortunate that we have all these extra types of materials we can use.
Yeah, there's a lot of resources. I know the Princeton Review textbook is a really good one because there's like practice questions within it and like condensed notes. There's also note.com. They have some pretty like good like cram sheets and a lot of practice questions, and you can like change the difficulty of it too.
Sure.
And Quizlet's also another good one.
You just do have to be careful because some of those are made by other students. And so I have found many mistakes on those over the years. So I've even found mistakes on some things that teachers have made. So you do have to be careful. You have to consider the source. Is it actually coming from the Princeton Review, or is it coming from someone else who made it? So there's a little bit of a buyer beware there, just to be careful. But there are lots and lots of amazing resources out there for you.
Yeah, or just make your own Quizlets too.
That as well.
Yes.
The act of making it is going to help you study.
If you could give one tip to the students, what tip would you give them?
I think the best tip is to become organized from day one. I think you have to keep your notes together. I think if you spend the time at the beginning of the year taking really good notes, and you learn a note-taking system that works for you, whether it's mind mapping or it's Cornell Notes, which I know you know very well, or it's the sticky note method. You find a method that works for you, and you really put the time in September and October and November, that's going to pay off for you in April and May. Because if you don't take really good notes and you don't keep them organized, when you go to study, you're kind of starting from scratch again, and that's not a good thing. So I think organization and really taking good notes, spending the time to take good notes early on, I think will definitely benefit you.
I would also say don't procrastinate and do your work on time.
Of course.
Don't procrastinate AP classes.
Yes.
No.
They're not the classes you should be procrastinating on.
No, not at all.
Otherwise, you'll probably miss a whole chapter.
Right. And then you find yourself, you're kind of digging out of a hole,
Yeah.
because then you're like, oh, I have to get caught back up again. And meanwhile, the teacher has moved on.
Yeah.
And so it's really important to stay, stay with the class.
I think since freshmen are mostly the people who take this class, they should expect it to be like fast paced. So like you said before, like stay on top of your things.
Stay on top of your
because we
things.
move like very quickly.
Yes, and it's time management. I tend to run this like a college class, so I assign the class notes and the book assignment on the very first day of the unit, and it's due the day of the exam, of the test. But if you wait until the night before, then there's going to be a problem. So time management is also a very important skill when you're in any AP class.
Yeah, I think this class definitely taught me time management.
Yeah.
For
It's
sure.
like a great class to prepare you for like college in the future and like what it's going to be like.
It is, and the content is definitely very doable for freshmen.
Yeah.
It's not every class is really appropriate for freshmen, but this one really is, and I think that's why it's through most of the country, at least, it is taught to freshmen because I think they can be very successful, and our students have been incredibly successful over the years.
What was your favorite unit?
Oh, my favorite unit. I would have to say my favorite unit is probably Unit 2, the population and migration unit. I think it's really interesting to compare countries and to see how, there's so much misinformation out in the world sometimes, and when you look at population, you see how some countries have a population problem with there's too many, and some have a population problem there's not enough, and how they deal with that, and how really the demographic transition model has seen that happen, how you can predict what's going to happen with countries that way. I'm a statistics person, so I love looking at all the statistics. I'm sure you guys remember the TFR and and all of the rest of them, the IMT, all the rest of them that kind of go along with it. I just think it's really interesting to look at statistics and compare statistics from one region in the world to another. I think is really interesting. I also really like Unit 4, the political unit, because I think that is most connected to the world today and looking at, through looking at that unit, we understand how the world today is. You understand why these countries get along, why these countries don't get along, why there are issues here, understanding the notion of a state and how more than anything, what people want is self-determination. They want the right to make laws that best suit their needs and as a culture. And there are so many groups of people that don't have that in the world because either the borders were drawn the wrong way or, for a number of different reasons. So I think when you look at all people as having a desire to really have laws in a society that fits their lifestyle, their culture, their religion, their whatever, I think is really interesting. And I think Unit 4 is all about sort of that, is looking at countries that have been able to find that and countries that are still struggling for that. So it's really interesting.
Thank you so much, Ms. Syme, for
You're
being on our
welcome.
podcast.
Glad to be here.
We hope you learn more about AP Human Geo and plan on taking it your freshman year.
Make sure to follow our Insta, and thank you for watching this episode.
Have a great day.
Bye.